think this is the second or third time that we've played Philly in pre-season, and every single time you play against them, you know you're going to get a very, very competitive game, and probably a good reflection of what you're going to see in the Eastern Conference, given the sort of standards that they've kept over the last 4 or 5 years. Today was no different. Younger group for us in the first 70 minutes. Our rhythm of minutes and competitive time lent itself to that, and there were some guys out there that were given the opportunity, or had the opportunity, to put a bit of a flag in the ground and say, look, don't forget about me during this long, hard pre-season. And they very much did that. I thought the guys that started the game showed a tremendous attitude. There are moments in any phase of the season, and certainly don't want to get too excited, but there are moments where the team can actually give everyone a lift, and I thought those younger guys, for the most part, did a wonderful job of raising everyone's spirits and playing terrifically well for 70 minutes. The attitude of what we would class as a more senior group coming into the game was spot on, and delighted in the end to get a couple of goals, especially for Teal. A lot of hard work going in there, always great to see your centre forward getting on the score sheet.
Thank you, Coach. Well said. We will start with Tim Sullivan and then go to Drake Hills. Go ahead, Tim.
Hey, Gary. This was the first time Philly had lost a preseason match, first time they had been shut out in a preseason match. I know the results in preseason are not super important, but what did it say about your club that you guys were able to shut down what looked like a first-choice 11 to start the game for them as well?
Yeah, no, I mean, like I say, the rhythm for the teams can be very different in terms of, you know, playing time and then, of course, the amount of workload that they're getting in during the week. But Jim put out what looked like his strongest team. I know Carranza was on the line, looked like he had a little problem, but a very, very strong group. You know, big reflection of the group that you saw in the final of MLS Cup at the end of last year. The guys were absolutely spot on. We changed shape slightly. I wanted to look at a back three. I thought there were some players within that younger group that would be given an opportunity to show their very best in that back three, midfield three, wing back type scenario. And they did just that. Got off to a really good start, played on the front foot, and you know, they caused a very good side some problems. And I think they caught them a little bit cold as well. There's no doubt. There were some senior players in the other group probably looking across saying, okay, this might be a slightly easier afternoon than we expected, and it certainly wasn't that. So very, very pleased. The rhythm of our group has been good. Couple of goals, albeit in an extended game. You know, there's been some really nice signs up until now, and to your point, Tim, you know, results are really immaterial in this pre-season, but it's always nice to get on the score sheet. I know I've taken a bit of stick for that in the last 2 or 3 games, so if anyone else wants to have a go, no problem. But for the guys to, not just to score, you know, the foundations of the group look good. Players are working hard. We've got a couple of omissions at the moment as well, just nursing some slight knocks and soreness. So to see the rest of the group stand up and do so well today was really pleasing.
Thank you, Coach. Next we'll go to Drake Hills and then Ben Wright. Go ahead, Drake.
Yeah, Gary, Teal hasn't really gotten the fair audition since he's first come to Nashville, obviously with the knee problem at the beginning of the season last year, and then I think it was a groin issue towards the end of last year. In terms of offering you a starting level player who can start multiple games, do you think the fact that he's able to sprout and blossom at this point in the preseason, that he's earned the opportunity to maybe begin this season as a starting 9 and to be dependable in that right?
Well, yeah, I mean, the immediate answer is yes, of course. You know, he's an experienced guy. Teal's been around the block and he's seen championship wins. He's got tremendous experience and he's got some qualities that suit our group terrifically well. So, yeah, the simple answer is yes. But I think confidence for forwards and forward-going players, creative players, is a huge element of you know, being in the right place and working towards the start of the season. If you look at the way that the game has unfolded today, Jacobs caused terrific problems down the left. Fafa has been a thorn in their side down the right. Lots of pace, lots of individual ability. You start to combine Shaq joining in and Daniel joining in. There's some really nice moments down those channels. I'm talking about the senior group now. The creative element to the group, I think, has shifted a little bit, especially with the addition of Fafa and seeing some more minutes there. But, I couldn't be happier for Teal to get on the sheet and now with a brace and to go into Friday's game where, most teams are going to be looking at a dress rehearsal for the start of the season in a confident mood. And different players will be looking for different things to work towards that opening game, and a couple of goals for him are doing the world of good.
Thank you, Coach. We'll go to Ben Wright, then back to Tim Sullivan. Go ahead, Ben.
Yeah, Gary, on the Philadelphia side, I believe in one of their recaps they said that Andre Blake had to make 7 saves in the first 90-minute stretch. Obviously, the goals came after in that additional period, but throughout that opening section of the game, did you feel like you guys were really able to kind of create some chances from the run of play? And how did you feel about that kind of less experienced group?
Yeah, look, I wasn't expecting when I saw their lineup for us to be laying siege to their goal, but we came off at half-time and I remember vividly, I don't think, they may have had one shot, and I think we certainly had the best couple of chances, or the very best chance, that Ethan, put right down the throat of Andre when, either side of him, and he might well have had a chance of breaking the deadlock. What I was pleased to see, there were some nice moments, we got in some good areas, there was some good link play in a system that a number of those guys have not played, in at this club. Lawrence has played right side centre back of a free for Tampa. Danny Griffin, from what I know, has not played in a back 5 shape and a midfield 3 for Pittsburgh. I could be wrong. And you can go around the group. Joey Dezar, these guys are all trying to make an impression against a very, very good team. And I think the majority of them have come out of it with some great credit. The best chances started to appear certainly when we got the second group on for the last 50 minutes. So, pleased obviously that the first group have done such a good job and given themselves a real shot in the arm, and that the second group came out with the right attitude and have won the game. It was great.
Thank you, Coach. Go ahead, Ben. Or is it Tim? Pardon me. Go ahead, Tim.
It was me. You're good, Matt.
Sorry, Tim.
Hey, Gary, you mentioned that you started it with a back 3, back 5 sort of look with some of those reserve players. It looks like based on the personnel that you went back to the back 4 once the senior team came on. What sort of flexibility do you anticipate going with this season? Obviously, you've kind of gone back and forth a couple different times in terms of what serves your personnel best.
Yeah, it's been, what's this, the 4th pre-season now that we've been able to chat about, this stage of our work. And, full well, I always like to have a plan B. We've tried Alex at right back and he's done a very sterling job there. He's very flexible, his abilities fit the role. But I thought we did a wonderful job in those early exchanges last year in a what we would class as a 3-4-3, and I wanted to see it again. And I thought he was outstanding in the first period of the game. Played it ever so well. And part of it today was certainly to look at that again. But a big part of it was to give those guys the opportunity to succeed and play in a position that felt more comfortable to them. If we play a back 4, we're now starting to put central midfield players out wide because of the personnel we had available. We're putting Alex to right back when he's certainly better at right wing back. We've got, centre halves that are shifting. And so, look, I need to go no further. They were put in the right positions. They did a sterling job. And I think all of them came off the field feeling great about themselves. And that's a big part of those guys making their step forward towards the season.
Thank you, Coach. We'll go to Drake Hills and then wrap up with Ben Wright. Go ahead, Drake.
Gary, you talked about next week, later this week being the dress rehearsal for, a lot of teams. For you guys, it'll be Cincy. Where does Hani and Randall, guys have kind of been rested or been taken just out of precaution? Where do you think Nashville is as far as having those guys being ready for that game? are you guys going to be at full health by then, you expect?
Yeah, honestly, I don't think there's anything in the camp. Nick Dupay's had a more sort of long-standing issue with his calf that has seen him out of the group, and you guys have obviously forgotten about him. You've never asked about him, so he's not been part of the action, which I'm really disappointed about. But I can tell you, I think Jack has been a standout defender in this pre-season. He's been absolutely outstanding. Has looked extremely assured. So I'm very, very pleased about that, but of course disappointed that Nick's not been part of it. Other than that, the guys that are outside the group at the moment are just carrying niggly problems. Dax has got a niggly quad. CJ's got a niggly groin that he trained, and he played against New England and has been in and out of training. Hanny's had a niggly glute. Nothing outrageous, And Randall's in a very different position. He's coming back from a hamstring problem and got his first 40 or 30 minutes out there today. So, I want to try and move that on. But I don't at this point see much of an issue. Will they be available for Friday? A bit of a toss of a coin at the moment whether they'll make Friday. I'd like to think so, but I see no reason why they won't be available for the following week. We won't be far away from full strength, I won't think.
Thank you, Coach. We'll wrap up today's session with Ben Wright. Go ahead, Ben.
Yeah, Gary, obviously this is coming from me not having actually seen any of the play on the field, but from your perspective, during this last week of preseason, what are some areas that you're really wanting to work on and improve on before the season starts in, 11 days?
Yeah. Honestly, if I told you that we were perfect in certain areas, I was lying. You're just not at this stage of pre-season. The things that you want to see, or certainly I do, you want to see a fit, strong, healthy team that are playing with some intensity, and they're getting to that point where the sharpness and the appreciation in their game is moving forward. You want to see a team that's connecting in possession and have got a nice understanding. Maybe one or two things that we've just looked at in the pre-season are starting to show themselves. You want to see a cutting edge. You want to see some creation. And you also want to see that when things are not going very well, they're going to dig in. That the defending attributes of the group and that competitive nature is starting to show itself again. And quite honestly, today I saw an improvement in all of those areas. No doubt about it. The New England game, I thought we created some really nice moments and should have made more of them. I told you that, and we didn't. Against Louisville, we should have scored. We should have at least scored and got ourselves on the sheet and didn't. So you start to, wonder and be a tad concerned about, are we getting in the right areas? Is the timing right? I'm seeing some really good signs. I've nothing to suggest that we won't be in a very good place come New York City in a week from Saturday. But of course, the Cincinnati game still gives us another opportunity to formulate that starting group, find the right rhythm, and of course be as confident as possible.